gotta move a little bit.
What?
Rosemary.
So where do you want me to sit?
Right here.
Okay.
Next to George and next to me.
Where the gavel is? Right there?
Yes, yes, yes.
Some of my stuff.
He's not coming, no. He's going to be in the homeowner association meeting.
All right, let me.
Okay, she's right here with us. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For something that.
George, take the seat. Let's go.
Let's go. Rock and roll.
All right, let me get some more water and we'll do it.
Yeah, water with me.
You want our water, Rosemary?
Yeah, bring you a bottle of water, a couple of napkins. Because she's crying, you know. Jerry, get her a bottle of water, would you? Rosemary, get Rosemary a bottle of water, please, and a couple of napkins. Thank you.
All right. Never a dull moment, huh,
Let's go.
Joseph?
Huh?
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, yeah, look at it. Look at it. I think we got to open the other wall.
There you go. All right. All right, where are you?
Down and dirty. Stop it, stop it. Oh, my God.
Oh, very good. Was there a...
Thank you, Jerry.
Stop it. Romania. We all combination.
Yes, we are.
Come here. Let's go. Miss Meyer.
What, are we sitting?
Yeah. Hey, Luna, you're late.
Rosemary, here's your set of questions.
You're late.
You want to go through there, pick your favorite ones?
I want to be
Well,
in
I'm gonna first go through the ones that I.
Those are all now in there, too? Okay. Joseph, again, open it up for questions.
In the end of the debate, 5 questions for the public, 2 minutes.
So you'll get to be one of the 5.
That'll be one of the 5. After the debate. If we don't set the rules, then you want to be here till tomorrow morning. They don't care. You were done at 1 minute. Because it's the same family. You guys from the same group. You gotta be fair to the rest of the people. Because your question will be the same as Donna. But,
Let's go. I'm good. Check
I
1,
know
2.
from the elderly.
All right, Howard, 2 minutes and then we're going to do it.
Okay.
Sodas, Van Nuys.
Rosemary,
Black grandkids. 2 black grandkids.
Rosemary, when you ask your questions, we're going to move the microphone over to you. You have to be right on the microphone. All right?
The lady in the back, the one that was going like this to me. I thought, yeah.
some of them. I have more, but he some of them. Here, she's half black, half Mexican. And he's half black and half Mexican. So United Nations.
This is my dog.
Is it true?
So what are we're comparing
Oh,
kin luck here? Is that what we're doing?
Beautiful. You have a lot of nafas? You know nafas in here? That's a lot of pleasure.
Oh, yes. My husband. This is our son. Our old friends.
You have to come to my gathering. You feel at home. You feel at home with my family. You feel at home.
Yes. Where do you live?
Do we have a quorum?
We only have 12.
12.
Oh,
Or
wait
there's-
a minute. No, we have more. One,
Canby's
2,
here.
3.
7:05.
Okay, well, let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll.
Yes. I have 7 kids. 19 grandkids.
16.
Oh, you gave me
Good. All right.
chief
Ooh, let me grab that. Rosemary, let me grab that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get crazy.
Okay. Quiet, please.
All right. So. All right, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Howard, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Roll call, Mr. Secretary. Here.
here.
Jeanette? Oh, here.
Mr. Barr. Here. Ms. Meyer. Here. Mr. Lazare.
Here.
Mr. Martin. Here. Ms. Skelton. Here. Mr. Tamara. Okay. Mr. Vallejo.
Derek and John are excused. They emailed in.
Say Mr. Anand. Present. Mr. De La Cuesta. Here. Ms. Padden. Here. Mr. Liv. Here. Mr. Lula. Here. Mr. Barabi. Here. Ms. Reyes. Here. And Mr. Robbins. Here. We have a quorum.
Very good. We have a quorum and we can officially conduct city business. A couple things before we start the debate. I'm going to have Miss Jones. Miss Jones is going to sing America the Beautiful for us and then lead us in the Happy Birthday of Van Nuys. So, Miss Jones, of course you can. There you go.
Distinguished guests, everyone in Van Nuys, welcome. Nuri and your opponent. God, I didn't check everybody's name. I'm new here, so forgive me. God bless everyone. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above our fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. And for the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, and the Marines, oh, beautiful, for heroes true in liberating strife, who more than felt their country's love and mercy more than life. America, America, God mend her every flaw, confirm thy soul with self-control, thy liberty in law. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am so humbly, so grateful to be here tonight. Now for Van Nuys, 104 years. Wow. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, beautiful Van Nuys. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. All right, and with that, we can cut into the cake. While that's going on, we're going to hear from Captain McMahon. So, John, if you can come and say hello, and then we'll get right into the debate. But we can cut into the cake, guys, if you guys want to. Not yet? What? All right. All right, Captain.
Thanks to the council for inviting me to give some brief introductory remarks and to introduce myself. My name is John McMahon. I'm the new captain at Valley Traffic Division. As I'm sure most of everybody knows, with that assignment, I'm responsible for the traffic enforcement for the entire San Fernando Valley. I've replaced Captain Maureen Ryan. I've been in my position now for just a few short weeks, and I come to Valley Traffic with a great deal of experience. Almost more than half of my 26-year career has been spent in the San Fernando Valley, and I've recently come to VTD from a brief 6-month stint at Van Nuys. So I'm very familiar with the Valley, its issues, and know firsthand that my first priority mission is to obviously reduce the traffic congestion, play my role in that, but more importantly, reduce the number of traffic fatalities and serious injuries in the San Fernando Valley. It has been and continues to be a tremendous problem, but I think through some dedicated initiatives, we can go a long way in reducing some of those needless numbers. One of the things in just a few short weeks that I am proud to announce is one of my what I'll call my signature initiatives, and is a grant that we're pursuing at Valley Traffic Division. And if we are awarded with that grant, and it looks really good, we'll be one of the first law enforcement agencies to be deploying in the fashion that I intend to deploy 16 AED devices into the traffic cars throughout the San Fernando Valley. And those defibrillators, without a doubt, once I'm successful and able to deploy those things, I think will play a large role in saving lives. We all know that sometimes, more often than not, it's the police car that gets to traffic collisions in advance of our ambulances and our paramedics, and those precious minutes can mean a great deal when it comes to saving lives. But just want to take this opportunity, again, special thanks to the board before the debate starts, to introduce myself. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'll be in the back of the room, and just want to say thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Captain. And with that, I would like to introduce... Okay. Before we introduce the candidates, I would like to welcome back our treasurer, Jeanette Hopp. Jeanette. Nothing keeps this woman from these meetings.
Not even an almost near-death experience. What can I tell you?
There it is. Yes, and Jeanette, we have a card for you, so there you go. And I'm sure everyone here is here for the Hazeltine request a letter of support. Isn't that what everyone is doing here?
No, we're here for the
All right.
Subway sandwich.
All right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Nuri and Cindy to come and go a center ring here, guys. I saw Cindy and... Okay. And Nura Martinez, come on down. Where's... 1 minute? All right. So before we get to Nuri, we'll just go through some formalities of the council. Secretary's report. Mr. Secretary, do you have anything for us?
We had the 2 sets of minutes. You want to vote, or do you want to vote on?
Yeah, let's vote on the minutes right now.
Want to get together?
So we're just going to approve the December and January minutes, right, sir?
Right.
All right. So did you have anything else, John?
No. I have extra copies if anyone has any interest. I
Very-
want to remind people that they're posted on the websites that we have and on Facebook. I've been requested in the past. Now I'm ready for.
I make a motion that we approve the December minutes.
Seconded.
With that, I call for the vote.
President Hopp.
Yes.
Vice President Benjamin.
Yes.
Secretary Henry. Aye. Ms. Hopp.
Aye.
Ms. Havard. Ms. Meyer. Mr. Lucero.
Yes.
Mr. Martin. Ms. Skelton. Stay. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Anand. Mr. De La Cuesta. Mr. Lynn. Mr. Luna. Mr. Marabi.
Hi, how are you?
Ms. Raines. Mr. Robbins. Passes.
Very good. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Nura Martinez.
Ladies, before we begin the debate, let me ask you to take the microphones and move them towards your mouth, no farther than this. That's what we need to capture you. So really close. Make sure your answers are right into the microphones. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. All right, you guys. So I emailed the format out. It was in the press releases and everything. So we are going to start off. First, let me introduce the co-moderator. This is Rosemary Jenkins. We're going to be switching off, asking questions. And what we could do is flip a coin for opening statements. Do we have, you want to just flip a coin, or do you guys want to rock, paper, scissors for it?
Arm wrestle.
Right. All right, so heads, Cindy, tails, Nuri. All right, tails it is. So Nuri, you're recognized first. You have a 3-minute opening statement, and then Cindy will have her 3 minutes, and then we'll get into the questions. So Nuri, you are recognized.
Thank you very much. Is this close enough?
Yes.
It's a pleasure to be here this evening. I am Nura Martinez, and I'm the councilwoman for Council District 6. Over almost close to 18 months that I've been elected, we've gotten to work on all the issues that the constituents had asked me to work on when I was campaigning. One of the primary issues was to deal with this issue of bulky items and trash and the amount of illegal dumping that goes on in our community. As a result of that, my office and I allocated funds to ensure that we have a full-time staff member with a truck committed to all 6 communities in my district to ensure that we're picking up the bulky items, especially around the chronic areas where people are illegally dumping. That's a priority for us. The other issue has been around human trafficking. This is probably the most difficult issue in my district in terms of trying to solve. I've certainly never made promises that we were going to get rid of human trafficking issues in the district, but we have 2 of the highest prostitution tracts than anywhere in the city of Los Angeles. And I'm talking about 13 and 14-year-old little girls that are trafficked in my district, and people who think it's okay to come and buy a 13-year-old on the corner of Van Owen and Sepulveda. Completely disgusting. The other issue that we've been tackling is the issue of street resurfacing, making sure that all communities are getting their fair share as far as Lake Balboa to Arleta to Sun Valley, making sure all of our communities get the necessary quality of life issues that they are concerned with. In terms of sidewalk repairs, the city is not getting to our sidewalks fast enough. We voted this year to allocate $27 million for sidewalk repairs alone. My office isn't going to wait for the city to figure out what they're going to do with this $27 million and how they're going to distribute it. In my office, we've again put together $400,000 from our office money to ensure that we get working on sidewalk repair. We've promised every community that this year we will get to the 10 worst sidewalks in each community in my district because we want to ensure that this work is getting done. When the city tells us how they're going to disseminate the $27 million, that would just augment what we have already put together in my office. Issues like economic development continue to be a priority. In terms of Van Nuys and what Van Nuys Boulevard looks like, this used to be a place where you were proud to shop and go down the street and everyone knew each other. That's not the case anymore. Van Nuys Boulevard looks run down. We have an opportunity by ensuring that we fight for light rail along Van Nuys Boulevard, and that we make sure that this can be used as an economic engine to revitalize the community of Van Nuys. I'm very proud of my track record in terms of working with local businesses. La Brea Bakery is one of them. La Brea Bakery, who bakes most of the bread for Subway and Costco and so on, is here in the heart of Van Nuys. Working with them last summer, we were able to ensure that they opened before the holidays, and they added 150 new jobs here in Van Nuys at La Brea Bakery. And they're going to add another 100 jobs this year. As a result, thank you. As a result of ensuring that we cut through the bureaucratic tape at DWP and that they were getting the necessary service to be able to meet their holiday demand. I am very proud of my track record. I want to continue to do the good work and represent my constituents because I live here. My family and I live in this community. I am raising my daughter in this community. We have something to gain by making sure that we all benefit from making sure that we fight for the right services for our community because we are invested in this area. And I just want to have an opportunity to continue the job that I started. And thank you very much for having me here this evening.
Cindy, you are recognized.
Good evening. Does that work? Let's see.
Fine.
Good evening. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good evening to everybody. I'm Cindy, and I first want to say thank you to the Neighborhood Council for putting this together and to all of you for attending. I've met many of you. It was so wonderful to be able to walk in here and see many of you who I've just met on recently, and many of you who I've known for a long time because we have, I think, the strongest neighborhood activist here in this room today. So thank you to all of you for coming and for continuing to do the work that you do for our communities. I also want to, recognize my mom and my dad who are here, and I have my aunt and my uncle that are here. I thank my parents. First of all, we've been in the Valley. I've lived in the Valley my entire life. I live in Van Nuys, and my parents are really hardworking people, like many of you here. They gave us everything they possibly could. There's 6 of us. We were very poor. We grew up in a 1-bedroom house, 6 brothers and sisters, my mom and my dad, a cousin, and but they always focused on 2 big things. One, of course, the biggest thing was having a strong faith and having good values. But then they said, live a healthy lifestyle and have a good education. Thanks to my parents, all 6 of us were able to go to college. I was fortunate enough to go to UCLA, and now my nieces and nephews are also, going off to college. And I thank my parents for that, and I thank this country for giving us those opportunities. I am running for City Council in District 6 because I know we deserve better. I have been walking these communities. I have been talking to people. I have been a community activist for a long time, and we don't get the same kind of city services that other council districts receive. When you just walk across the street, right now we could all walk to Oxnard and everything's going to change immediately. We could just walk across the street and we will see homeless people that have been there for months and months, and no one has ever reached out to them and say, how can we help you? How can we together as a community come together? My office is right across the street, and I think I saw Rick Stanton here, who's the owner of the General Country Store. Business people like this that have been here, the whole boulevard, a lot of these business owners are supporting me because I live here, I work here. They know that that I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can to transform our neighborhoods, from Van Nuys to Sun Valley to Panorama City to Lake Balboa to North Hills, North Hollywood, every single part of our district. And we all have different issues, but yet we all have something in common, which means, for me, what I have heard is that we want to be heard. As people that live in this area, we want to be heard. We want people to address our issues. From, yes, the bulky item pickup, from the broken streets and sidewalks, from making sure our communities are safe. It's not right for Van Nuys to have had the highest rate, the increase in crime anywhere in the city of Los Angeles. Why? Why is it that it's in our community that we are not the ones that are receiving the same kind of quality services as elsewhere? The city sanitation doesn't necessarily do, what we're doing. I think it's fine that, the council member decided to finally get somebody on board on November 21st of 2014. She finally decided after months and months of office to get somebody to go around and pick up the trash. Again, I'm running because I firmly believe we deserve better. And I will do a good job, and I will work hard, and I will do everything I possibly can to ensure that we have the best city services possible. But I can't do it alone. We have to continue to do it together. And by what I've seen, I know we're going to be able to make a change come March 3rd. And I would be honored to be your council member.
No, it was like 20 seconds. All right, so for the, we're going to jump right into the questions. I'm going to ask a question. Since Nuys started off, we will start with Cindy for the first question. Howard's going to be in charge of the time. When you hear the little bell, that's the 2 minutes. And I'll ask the first question, then Rosemary, and we'll go back and forth like that. Here's the first question for Cindy and Nuri. Question 43, I gave you guys both the printout. Question 43, what can be done about the sex trafficking and prostitution along Sepulveda Boulevard in Van Nuys? So Cindy, you have 2 minutes.
Okay. So I live probably in the heart of, this prostitution, right in the corner of I live in Sherman Way and Sepulveda. And what I have seen is, there an increase. My reality, whether I get up at 6:45 in the morning to walk around my neighborhood, or if I'm around at 11:30 in the afternoon, or if it's 6 o'clock, or if it's right now again, when I talk about issues, I'm not talking about, something, a fantasy, reality. The reality is we could walk outside right now, and again, let's go to the neighborhood. Let's go, and we will see that the prostitution is there. I think that what we have to do is that we really have to continue to do a lot more. These young women that are out there, and we see them, I don't even know, we know that they're not, most of them are not even 18 years old. It's a real crime. It's a crime against these women. It's a crime against the neighborhood. It's a crime that these men are going out there and picking up these women. We have to be able to do work in a comprehensive way to attack the issue of sex trafficking. Right now, it's like we're chasing them. We're chasing them from Van Nuys and Sherman Way to Van Nuys and Roscoe to Lancashire. That's what's going on. It's the same women. I see them. So for us to think in our head that by going around and posting on Facebook that we went and arrested 8 women and 14, Johns that picked them up, and that's taking care of the problem, I'm sorry, it's not taking care of the problem. You need to come and you need to live in our neighborhoods. You need to come and you need to see the reality of what is going on in Van Nuys. I have people that are upset, neighbors that come to me all the time. Cindy, it's like we come and they come out here and it's like 2, 3 in the morning. My kids can't sleep. Let's sign a petition. Let's go out and protest. Let's do this. Let's do everything we possibly can because the issue is not being taken care of. We will take care of this issue because we will absolutely work in a comprehensive way with the nonprofits, with the police department, with everybody to make sure we address this issue because it's not being taken care of right now.
I think my opponent is absolutely right. It is about reality, and the reality is that I am doing the work. And the reality is... Wait, hold on. The reality is that last year alone, between 3 police stations, we arrested 54 pimps, which is a record number of pimps that we've ever arrested in these neighborhoods, and almost 699 arrests of Johns, of men who think it's okay to come into our district and pick up 13-year-olds. That's the reality of what we've been doing. $75,000 of additional funding for 2 pet cars. Prostitute Enforcement Detail, that's what it's called. 2 cars for both Foothill and Van Nuys to ensure that we increase presence in these 2 corridors. Absolutely right. It is never okay to come out and walk outside of your house and see used condoms in someone's driveway as you're putting your kids in a car to take them to school. That is completely not okay. But we have also implemented John School. For anybody who gets arrested in these neighborhoods, you are required to go to John School, and you're required to pay $600 and sit through John School on a Saturday morning for 8 hours and listen from live testimony from a former prostitute. We have also implemented diversion program. We are not going to arrest our way out of this issue. I understand that, because we're talking about children who we can't necessarily send back to a mom and dad because they mostly come out of foster care system. And they're American children that are being trafficked from across this country. This is the dirty little secret that nobody wants to talk about and that no one has ever taken on in this community until I got elected. Because it's a very difficult issue to solve. So what have we done? We are working with two amazing organizations in Van Nuys. One of them is down the street, which is the Children of the Night. Then you have the other organization on Oxnard, which is CATS. And then we have the Mary Magdalene Project. These are all programs dedicating to ensuring that we have proper services for the young women that are not prostitutes, that are victims, that we need to make sure we rescue and they find the adequate services to get them off the street and continue to pursue the tactics that we are doing, because we have seen a diminishing number of little young girls on these streets, and we are making the proper arrests. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. All my questions tonight will be addressed to both of you. And why don't we start with Nuri, since we started with Cindy last time. You're probably aware of the El Super campaign that's been going on. What I would like to know is, do you support the official campaign with the three facets, raising the wage to $15 an hour, eliminating wage theft, and adding 2 days to the state figure to make 5 earned paid sick days?
Mm-hmm. Well, you want to know that I support increasing the minimum wage, whether it be $13.25 an hour or $15.25 an hour. We haven't figured that out because we're still in the middle of conducting a study. In terms of the boycott, I haven't officially taken a position, but wage theft is absolutely a crime. If you actually went in, did a job, and people are withholding your wages, that's completely illegal, and we should do something about that. The city should probably advocate for those folks whose wages have not been paid. Family paid leave is something that I have been very much an advocate for since I've been on the city council. We do have a state law in this state that provides family paid leave that was probably passed almost 12 years ago by now County Supervisor Sheila Kuehl. A lot of people don't know you have a right to this wage in case you want to take time to take care of your baby or a loved one, or if you're sick yourself. We have to ensure that workers in this state, or in this city for that matter, know what their rights are and that they collect the necessary money when it's adequate for them to take the necessary leave to be with their families. So I support both. El Super, like I said, I have not taken a formal position. It is in my district. The folks that work there probably also live in my district, but it's something that I'm fighting for a fair wage across the city of Los Angeles. People cannot live on $9, $10 an hour with inadequate health care benefits. We need to do something about that. They live in my district. These people are residents of this community, and we need to ensure that their wages go up and that we do that, but we do it responsibly.
Since there's a little time left, since the wage theft is illegal but it's not being enforced as it should,
correct,
do you have any idea how you would go about enforcing the law?
Yes, and we're currently, my colleague Paul Koretz has submitted a motion which was introduced a couple of months ago, along with my colleague Gil Cedillo. And so it's going through the proper channels, but we haven't heard it in committee yet, but
Thank
coming.
you. Cindy?
Okay, so the questions were on the $15 minimum wage, the wage theft consequences, 5 days paid vacation. Do I support all these?
Well,
I absolutely.
It started out with, do you support the El Super?
Oh, and the super boycott. Yeah. Okay, so I was just reading that. Okay, so the answer to all that, very simply, yes. And the question is, how much, right? We're talking about the discussion about, minimum wage, and whether it's going to be the existing, is it going to be what the state is proposing at a federal level, or is it going to be, what the council is currently discussing? That obviously has to be clearly studied to look at the impact. Is it $15? Is it more? Is it less? Look at the impacts on local businesses, on the actual employee. Look at the impact on the city of Los Angeles. Do I think the real issue for me is that we have to talk about getting people out of poverty? That's the real issue. And I have said over and over and over, it's like we can't just think that because we increase the minimum wage, people are going to be lifted out of poverty. Lifting people out of poverty goes back to how I just started my own reality. We were really poor. My parents worked for minimum wage and sometimes worked less. They worked for whatever they possibly could. And what helped us was two big things, was having a strong family and having an education. So we have to focus on our school system. Nura Martinez was a member of the school board. And one of the things that she did was cut adult education. If we are talking about $15 minimum wage, we're talking about adults for the most part. And when you turn around and you cut their programs and you think you're going to take care of them because you give them $15 an hour, you have betrayed them consistently. So what I believe is that when we talk about this issue, we have to talk about an issue in a very comprehensive way, in a very humane way. So I will absolutely work with the school district. I will work on minimum wage issues. I will absolutely be aggressive about going after businesses that are taking advantage of their employees, because as a community, together, we have to make sure that small businesses are successful, that our employees are treated well, and that we have a system that truly gets people out of poverty.
Okay, so then it'll be Cindy, you're going to be up first on this question. On the handout, it's question number 26. What is your opinion of changing the LA City Charter for the City Council and LAUSD Board of Education elections? The charter amendments that are on the ballot on March 3rd. The amendments would line up the elections with the primary and general elections in even years. Cindy.
Okay, so I absolutely support increasing, the amount or the increase. The last election in this city council election, there was 9% of the people that actually turned out to vote. So I agree that we need to encourage higher voter participation. I would like to see, meetings like this where you have hundreds of thousands of people engaged, whether it's directly here or by online, and have a communication of active engagement. So I do support it. Here's the concern that I have. The special interest. The special interests that are even getting involved in this election. So when you have special interests, for example, the people that are supporting Nura Martinez's campaign, you have Jack Benedin, $50,000 from one person. Look at your mail piece. When you look at your mail pieces, look at this little thing that says paid for by. Paid for by Jack Benedin, $50,000. David Spiegel. Who's David Spiegel? Well, his wife happens to own the district office where Nura Martinez uses our taxpayer dollars to pay for David Spiegel's mortgage. And what does he turn around and do? David Spiegel, $10,000 on one, $25,000. And his wife and him get their mortgage paid by who? By us. That's where I have a problem. When you start allowing too much special interest to have election. They're doing the same thing now. Here he goes. All this stuff, all this dirty mail you see about me, people saying DWP is supporting Cindy. No, DWP is supporting Nura Martinez. Special interests are supporting Cindy Martinez? No. So let's look at the facts. Let's look at reality. You are smart people. $75,000 from Farmers Insurance in the last election for Nura Martinez, for dirty, hate, negative mail, trying to influence us. That's why I support political reform, campaign finance reform, and giving the power and the vote back to the people.
Well, this just got really interesting. So the question was whether I support the ballot measure and the term limits. So what I voted on was to put it on the ballot. I haven't taken a position in terms of the ballot measure, but I will tell you this. In terms of increasing voter participation, I almost feel like it really doesn't matter when people vote. If your elected official is not responsive to the needs of the district, then they're not going to turn out and vote for you. It's that simple. And so to me, it really doesn't matter whether you're voting, whether we consolidate the elections with the state elections, or whether this notion of perhaps giving people a lottery system by which you're going to draw somebody's name if you vote, and you perhaps can get to win $50,000 to $100,000 is ridiculous. It makes a mockery out of our system. Again, it has to do with the fact that if you are interested in serving the district that you represent, and if people feel that you are responsive to the needs of the community and you are producing and actually being effective at your job, then people are going to want to vote out for you and turn out. To me, that's what I told my colleagues. It almost doesn't matter, because if the reason we have such a lower turnout in some of these districts is because people just have voter apathy. They just don't feel that their elected official is in touch with everyday issues, and therefore it's one of the reasons I feel the voter turnout is so low. Since you wanted to go there, Ms. Montañez, in terms of all the negative pieces that you claim, you know, it's very interesting. If you guys remember my election, in my general election, I was outraised almost 3-1 with no money. There was no interest. There was no talk of any of that. I was almost outraised by 3-1, and I was down by 19 points in my primary. And I won my general election by 10 points, almost a 30-point swing. So there was no special interest. In fact, the very special interest that she is now talking about were the very people that were supporting you. That's right. So all of a sudden, it's now become that she's a community activist on a ballot designation, and all of a sudden, she's now become the people's candidate. Where have you been for the past 18 months, Mrs. Montañez? This is what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you both. We'll start with Nuri on this one. What is your position on the bullet train design corridors, and specifically, do you support the underground design through the city of San Fernando and the adjacent areas?
That's a very good question. You know, this would impact the community of Sun Valley in particular. Sun Valley has been the dumping ground of the city of Los Angeles. The majority of the city's landfills are all located in Sun Valley. The majority of the trash haulers are all in Sun Valley. The majority of the environmental injustices that have been committed in this district have pretty much all been concentrated in the community of Sun Valley. I think it's enough. Enough is enough in terms of how the negative impacts that the community of Sun Valley has suffered. As their representative, I am going to fight tooth and nail to ensure that Sun Valley gets protected. And if we have to go find alternative routes, then we need to do that. But we've got to organize ourselves and ensure that not just the people who get to storm into a meeting on the bullet train and the loudest get hurt. It's the people of communities like Sun Valley who often don't get to go to meetings because they're busy working. We need to ensure that they are protected and that every single other alternative is met, because Sun Valley has got to be the stop. It has to absolutely, we need to ensure that we protect it. It cannot continue to be the dumping ground of this district. It just can't. So to answer your question, I support anything that doesn't negatively impact my district. And that underground subway has not been completely vetted, and the community of Sun Valley has not had its opportunity to come and speak to the authority. So I invite them to come into my district. They've been very good about going to other parts of the district, other parts of the Northeast San Fernando Valley, and other communities are getting organized. My community, not until 2 weeks ago, when I officially asked for a work group to be put together in the community of Sun Valley, have I heard from the High-Speed Rail Authority. So that's what we expect to do. We expect it to be vetted and for us to voice our opinions in terms of how it's not going to negatively impact my district.
Thank you.
Okay. So first thing on, finish the last question, which was to clarify again, reality fact checked. Farmers Insurance, Jack Benedin, David Spiegel have never, ever once contributed to my campaign. And
Ms.
on July 24th,
Ms. Montañez,
July 24th of 2013.
No, Ms. Montañez, you need to deal only with the question that was asked.
Okay, so July 24th of 2013, $200,000 in outside spending for Nura Martinez.
You're not doing that. Wait.
That's all I'm saying.
You must follow the rule. You must follow the rules, the format that we're using. You are only answering the question regarding the bullet train and the possibility of an underground
Okay,
path.
so the reason I bring that up is to answer the question. There is a lot of outside money
Would
that
you
is trying
please-
to
would you-
answer the question, Rosemary. So the reason I say that, there's a lot of outside money that's trying to influence development in Council District 6. It's developers, it's big money interests that are coming in and they're saying, you know, this is what we want. On high-speed rail, they sold us, when voters voted for high-speed rail, it was supposed to be a $9 billion project. $68 billion project is what it's estimated to be at. I went to a meeting here in Lakeview Terrace at All Nations Church. 2,000 people, residents. We were there, and it was an overwhelming no. We don't want the high-speed rail to ruin our foothill community. A week later, I go to another meeting, Pacoima. There was at least 200, if not more, people from Pacoima and Sun Valley and San Fernando saying, no, we don't want the high-speed rail to ruin our community. The community is speaking out loud and saying, we don't want the high-speed rail to ruin our community. Had the council member been at those two meetings, I think it would be clear. It's not my district is a response. It's us in the valley. It is absolutely our district. It's our issue. So I stand with the community on this issue. The Foothills community don't want high-speed rail. Pacoima, San Fernando, Sun Valley don't want it, or they want to make sure the high-speed rail is done right.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we're going to start with Cindy. This is question 13 on your handout. Other communities like North Hollywood have undergone a major facelift with many beautiful places built. What specifically can you do to help us for the betterment of Van Nuys? This used to be the jewel of the valley. We have the government center here. How do we attract better businesses and polish our jewel for all to want to come here to Van Nuys? Cindy.
Okay, one of my favorite questions. I have been, working with different groups for many years now on issues of just how do we create historic downtowns and how do we transform neighborhoods. I live in Van Nuys, again, grew up in this area. Our boulevard here, looking at some of the local business owners that are here, we have one of the most tremendous opportunities to make this a beautiful historic core. We are in the Civic Center. When we travel all over the world, when we travel all over California, when we travel even within Southern California, it doesn't matter where you go. Civic centers are a center of pride for the community. They're beautiful. Van Nuys, we have a ways to go. We have to clean up our streets. We have to engage our local business owners. Again, the local business owners here are supporting me. Why? Because they know I have a vision and a plan that we're going to work together as a community to transform Van Nuys. Business improvement districts work with the neighborhood council. I think all of you have been great about saying, let's do a business improvement district. Let's